You're now listening to the You Run podcast.
True crime. This podcast is unique. Heather, tell them why.
You choose the cases. You share your opinion. And I hit you with mine.
He got an easier death than he deserved.
Casey was the first Illinois prisoner executed against his will.
An eyewitness later described Bundy's last moments of life.
He made reference to his loved ones and to his family when he was saying his last words.
A serial killer comes about by circumstances and
This is the You Run podcast. This is the only true crime podcast where we put you in control. You become part of our team as me and Heather take you through the cases that you have chosen. This is not our show. This is your true crime.
That bitch is cray-cray. She's real crazy.
Hello, welcome to the You Run podcast. My name is Scott.
And my name is Heather.
And you are listening to the only true crime podcast completely run and controlled by you, the listeners. Each month we bring you 2 episodes. We bring you a case episode, which is a case you picked, where we go through the details of the case. And then we also bring you extended cut. And in extended cut, we talk crazy theories. We talk all kinds of shit. And Heather normally sings for some reason.
I don't know if I have a song coming up. I mean, I almost forgot to introduce myself because you went so fast into it where I was like, is it my fucking turn? I'm Heather. Yeah, anyways, it's been a while. We haven't recorded together in a while, so it's been a while. I forget how to do shit.
It's been a long time since we've recorded. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. It's been way too long. If you want to get involved in the show, it's really, really easy. Go and follow us on Instagram at You Run True Crime. On there, you can vote in the polls where you pick the cases we investigate. You can give facts and theories because I'll ask you regular questions. If you want to go one step further, you can call the show and hear your voice on the air. You can do that on our website, which is yourunpodcast.com, on Instagram, which is at yourunTrueCrime. And you can also now do it in our Discord server. And if you want that, DM me on one of the social medias and I'll send you the link to join it. If you listen every month or every week, you will know that me and Heather record all the time together. And the last 2 episodes we've been apart, which has been sad. I've not. You got Heather's episode on Lacey Peterson. I'm so glad you've done that on your own.
Yeah.
That would have killed me, that case.
It was a case that I have known about for years. It's something that, I mean, living in the U.S., of course, I feel like I hear about all the shit before anybody else, right? And it was just a case that was kind of personal to me, because of the time frame of when it happened, and that motherfucker's still in jail. So
good.
Bye.
Yeah. Good.
He's still there.
Good. Where he deserves to be. And then I brought you my solo episode where I dealt with the disappearance of Tara Calico, which was a heartbreaking case. I hate that case.
But also very unsolved and kind of makes you mad because you're like, what happened? What happened to this girl? And you love those cases, I think, almost like the unsolved.
I do. And the thing is, though, they drive me mad because I get really obsessed with well, why didn't the police do this? Why didn't they do that?
Yeah.
Why has this not happened? Why has that not happened? It's like, who the fuck run this? Why did they not push further? It just winds me up. I think that's why I get so obsessed with them.
Yeah, I think you do well with that kind of stuff because you like the broad range of not knowing conspiracy theories and the continuation of we're never going to have this solved. And me, I'm like, I need to know who the fuck did this. And I'm going to pick high profile cases because I'm like, these are the ones that I know too much about.
Yeah, and we've got one of those coming up, but we'll talk about that later as well. How have you been anyway? How's Baby Bump progressing? I think we need a bump update. We've not had a bump update for 2 episodes.
Baby Bump is bumping along. Say that 5 times fast. I am getting close to my 3rd trimester. I think I'm almost 27 weeks. You saw me because we video record these. So you saw that my stomach looks like I have 2 babies. I swear to you guys, there's only 1 fucking baby in there. It better be. There better be only one.
One's hid behind the other.
I will lose. I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm doing well. I'm just super tired all the time. Achy. Pregnant first world pregnant bitch problems. Let's say that. I don't know. But it's just, I'm ready to be done.
Maybe I'm pregnant because I'm achy and tired and grumpy all the time too.
Maybe. Oh gosh. But that's just how it be.
I'm glad to have you back, especially for this case.
I'm glad to be back. I'm glad to be back because, doing the solo episode was cool. Like, don't get me wrong. It was fine. I pretty much used to do my podcast solo all the time. I'm fine by myself, but yeah, it's more fun. So you can banter back and forth.
Yeah. I'm glad you're back, and especially for this case, because this is the case that when it won the poll, I was really excited because I knew a little bit about this, and I was desperate to try and solve it because this is a spate of unsolved killings, which just falls straight into the wheelhouse of what I like.
Yes, I knew when I saw it, I was like, and then I kind of looked up a little bit because I didn't know much about it. I was like, yeah, Scott's got a boner for this. He loves it. He's excited. He's so excited. And I'm like, it's conspiracy theory, y'all. That's me.
So between 1997 and 2008, authorities in Midwestern and Northeastern states of the US recovered bodies of 50 young men from bodies of water. At each crime scene, there was graffiti of a smiley face found. This led a pair of New York police detective Kevin Gannon and Anthony Durat to comprise one of the most compelling and also the largest true crime conspiracies in history. Today, we take a look at the smiley face killers.
Two detectives say that they can link the murder of a Minneapolis college student to the disappearances and deaths of dozens of college men across the country. Drownings of at least 40 other men in 25 cities in 11 different states.
The cases were ultimately linked.
Chris was abducted in a cargo van. He was driven around Minneapolis for hours.
We've been doing this on our own, with our own finances. We've never taken a penny from any of the families.
And tortured. He was taken down to the Mississippi River, and he was murdered.
It can't be a coincidence.
The level of evil that we're dealing with here is rampant, it's deep, and it's widespread.
The evidence, two retired New York police detectives uncovered in a cross-country investigation.
And I told them I would never give up on the case.
Killer's trademark, a smiley face.
So the theory of the smiley face killers was born back in 1997, and it came off the back of a case of Patrick McNeil, who's a 21-year-old student from Fordham University. He was seen drinking with friends in a Manhattan bar, which was called the Dapper Dog, which I think that's a great name for a bar.
It is pretty cool.
Yeah. I'd go for a drink in the Dapper Dog.
Yeah.
He never returned home, and he was discovered 2 months later, 12 miles away. He was found half naked, his body close to the entrance of New York Harbor, but the death was deemed accidental and all foul play was discounted. At the time, Kevin was a detective in the New York Police Department, and he refused to accept his death was an accident and continued to work the case.
Yeah.
Is that a common thing? Is that a common thing for detectives to do? I've always wondered that, if there's just a case that they can't let go. Does that happen a lot?
I feel like you see it more like on TV or these true crime shows than you maybe do in real life, because most of the true crime stuff that I'll watch will be like cold case files, right? So it's a cold case. So someone disappeared or was murdered 20 years prior in the past, and you have this new detective that's on the case. They happen to get the case file and they want to reopen it, re-examine it, look at it to see, and then fucking crazy enough, most of the time they end up finding out what the fuck actually happened.
Yeah.
So having a fresh set of eyes, that may help close the gap in between what happened and then let's get some justice for this person's family.
Yeah. I kind of get the feeling that most detectives are worked to the bone. And when they get a case and someone goes, it's accidental, I think 90% of detectives go, okay, and just move on to the next one.
Yeah, I don't think that this is something that at the FBI, wherever, that they're not just like, you know what, we haven't figured this out, so we're just going to keep trying.
Yeah.
I think there's stipulations for they're going to do what they can do. They have to eventually close the case. And the reason why these cases get reopened is because they become a cold case and you have a new, fresh set of hands and eyes on them.
Yeah.
To me, that's the only reason why. You just have someone new that comes in to be like, let me try to see if I can figure out what happened.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's a little bit like our show, really. We wade in and go, you lot have been trying for a while. Let us have a go. We'll see what we can come up with. In 2001, Kevin retired from the NYPD, and he then enlisted the help of his old partner, Anthony, and they set out to find out what actually happened to Patrick and other young men that had died under similar circumstances. They set up their own investigation firm, and Kevin remortgaged his home to fund the investigation. That I just find wild.
I'm not going to say that seems fabricated, but it's a little insane for this particular case for him to want to do something so drastic. Because this is, to me, it's not personal, is it? I don't think so.
No, it's just
there's other cases that deserve that type of attention. Especially like disappearances of like small children, women, men, everybody. Why not focus on that? Question mark? I don't get it.
I didn't get it. So in the case of Patrick McNeil, they concluded between them that he had been stalked, drugged and positioned in the water. They also determined he had ligature marks on his wrist and his neck, also charring on his body and his head. And it was this that pushed them to basically go, this was a murder, and pushed it to another level. And they started investigating other cases that were similar.
I mean, that sounds like a murder to me. If you think about it, like if you accidentally drowned, even if you were too drunk and you fell in water, whatever, you wouldn't have a char mark on you.
No, and you wouldn't
have strangulation. Yeah, none of that would happen. With the fucking fish of the lake are not strangling you. Like, what's happening? You know,
the Great New York Lake River Strangler.
I don't even know what kind of fucking fish are in there. I don't know. Like, I don't like lakes and rivers, by the way. Just FYI, I ain't swimming in no kind of shit, so I will never drown in one because I'm not going to get my ass close enough to a lake or a river because you can't see the bottom. Bye.
How about the sea?
Fuck that bullshit. I don't like the ocean. Do you know what's out there?
No.
Sharks is.
Oh, yeah, sharks are out there.
No, sharks is like a lot of them. Anyway, we ain't got time for that because I have that. What is it? Not the thalassophobia. Maybe that's what it is. Actually, the fear of deep water.
Yeah.
Fuck that. I be getting ankle deep in the ocean, and I saw a shark one time. Scott, I ain't playing with y'all. I saw a shark for real, like 5 feet from me. I did a Jaws scene. I said, "Shark!" I got the fuck out of there, and y'all save your own self. I'm not kidding. I was like, I never went back into the water after that. True story. This happened a couple years ago when I was at the beach. I was like, fuck that shark.
So you're firmly a swimming pool kind of girl.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Put me in the swimming pool or my bathtub. That's it for me.
So as these two investigators started going through these other cold cases of disappearances of young men, they started to put notice a pattern, and they were discovering that these people were disappearing the same way. And this is when they decided that they were on the heels of a serial killer, and they started to build a profile of the victims and the killer, speaking with friends, family, and other people who were involved. They kind of built what they thought was their case. So all the men were young males, physically fit, popular, and overachievers in education or whatever they were doing. So they're either really good athletes or they're really good in their schoolwork. They were high achieving people, and they were all physically fit. They worked out, or their theory is that the killer would be the opposite, and the killings were out of envy. I've got another theory on that. I don't see that.
Why would that matter? What are they trying to say? It's some big bloke that.
Yeah,
I don't get that. That's like kind of stereotyping. Something.
It's a very big leap. to go from that. Oh, these guys are all physically fit and doing well, so the person who killed them is not physically fit and not doing very well.
Well, then he wouldn't have the upper hand as well if that's the case, because he wouldn't have the strength. Like, what are they trying to say? It's like the big fat guy from Seven. Like, what's happening? Like, is he killing that? Anyways, go ahead. I cannot with this already. I told you.
The biggest thing linking the cases was the discovery of graffiti, which was a smiley face at each crime scene, hence the name, the Smiley Face Killer. There has never been an explanation of why the killer would use smiley faces, but there are literally hundreds of, and I'm not joking, there are hundreds of theories as to why it would be a smiley face. And we're circling back to the smiley face later, because I've got some serious fucking issues with the smiley face.
I just, it's so stupid to me. Like, not to disregard the case, but this is not even I think this is all fake. Fake news is like the Onion. Not fake, but like somebody has had too much time on their hands to be like, we need this elaborate, crazy fucking story. I don't know.
Are you saying that these two guys watched too many episodes of Criminal Minds?
They probably did. If you see sperm or something, then you can find out the killer, but there wasn't anything left.
No,
like
there was
people,
no evidence on these. This is one of the things that they said, that the bodies were dumped in water because it got rid of evidence. And I've never known water destroys some evidence, but it doesn't get rid of everything. It doesn't. You don't throw someone in the river and all of a sudden they're clean. It doesn't work like that.
Yeah, no.
But they persevered. In 2006, the two retired detectives believed they'd hit a milestone in the case. A university student named Christopher Jenkins was pulled out of the Mississippi.
Thank Mississippi, y'all.
Pulled out of the Mississippi River following a bar crawl with his friends. Is bar crawl a term that's used in the States, or is it bar hopping?
No, it's like bar hopping, club hopping. You know, like, I mean, a bar and a club to me are a little bit different. Like, a club is where you go and shake your ass and shit, and then the bar is like where you go to drown your sorrows, I guess. But no, I don't. Not a bar crawling. That's not really a fancy term for us.
So that's a UK term. We will go on a bar crawl. It has to be, I guess. We will go from bar to bar to bar to bar.
Yeah.
Anyway, his death was listed as accidental drowning, and this is something his parents refused to accept. His parents claimed that he was abducted and murdered. His mother even told CNN he was murdered and thrown away like a piece of trash. Now, the family claimed that their son was driven around in a van, tortured before his death. And this was all theory. This is just, I think this, as sad as it is, I think this is a family saying in their head what they would rather had happened, because that's better than the alternative that he got drunk and fell in the river. I think this is, I don't know why they come up with this theory, but there is no evidence to support their claims.
Yeah, I don't think either one is better.
No.
Really, if you get murdered or if you accidentally die,
the
still
outcome,
gone.
The outcome is still the same. And this is where it gets really weird. So there was an informant that come forward who was serving time in prison, who claimed to have information on the death of Christopher. A few months later, the police officially changed the cause of death from accidental drowning, and they changed it to homicide. But they haven't released the details of what that information was or who the informant was. So I decided to take things one step further than I normally do, and I called the Minneapolis Police Department.
I don't even know what to say. You crazy.
I could not get the information I needed online, and it was driving me wild.
You can't, guys. If anybody's gonna research this and wants to look at it later, you're just gonna be in a fucking loophole. Like, you're just, it's too much. It's too much. Let me just put it that way.
Yeah, it's a lot. So I picked up the phone. I made an international call. I called the Minneapolis Police Department, and I was told the following. I could request the police reports through public information on their website, but they were aware of the case, and the information contained within had not become public information yet. And then I was then interrogated for a good 10 minutes as to
I bet
who I was, why I wanted the information, what was the name of my podcast. So if the lovely lady in the Minneapolis Police Department who assisted me is listening, hello. It was nice talking to you.
Wait a minute, I have to ask, how much did that phone call set you back?
It wasn't cheap.
So who's the real insane person here, guys?
I think
come on.
I got my phone bill. I was expecting it to be higher. I got my phone bill. I was like, shit. Oh well.
That's what happens. Don't call us motherfuckers in the US. Okay, it's expensive.
It is. I got charged like a per minute rate, but then I also got charged like a connection fee and a disconnection fee as well. And I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah. I can imagine it was really expensive just to call them so they can basically tell you nothing.
She was very polite. She basically told me to fuck off. Is basically what I got.
Yeah. You said Minneapolis? Yeah, in Minneapolis? Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Now, you know me. I wasn't happy with the answer I got. I really wasn't. So I went digging through various documents online and I actually found what happened. So I found this on a police report that had been released and parts of it had been redacted. So a prisoner in Minneapolis had claimed that they had been involved in the murder, and they offered evidence for either a reduced sentence or perks within their prison sentence. So a nicer cell, a TV, or whatever it was. And that was agreed. And they gave information, and the police are currently investigating that information and have been since 2006. So they're not moving at any particular pace.
It's taken them that long. What? Yeah. We're in 2022, bitch.
Exactly. But boom, it was public information, and I found out all the details I needed, apart from the name of the prisoner, which is redacted on every single form.
Oh yeah.
And I understand that as well, because he doesn't want his cellmates finding out that he helped with an investigation, because his nice cell will be painted red quite quickly, I imagine.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's like prison drama. We don't need that.
Yeah, no, we don't need that. This leads into a much wider theory. So I would like to tell you that the smiley face killings are limited to the Northwest and East-West. I'd like to tell you that they're limited to the United States. But they're not. This case, or this theory, spans pretty much every country in the world: Canada, Europe, Australia, South Africa, India. All of the cases are suspected to be smiley face killings. And if they are actually all committed by the same group, there are over 350 smiley face killings globally.
Scott, if they all over the world, they got some frequent flyer miles like a motherfucker. How you gonna get this? My face. I wish y'all could see my face. This is some stupid shit. I think it's just coincidental. A lot of shit ends up being coincidental, but like, come on.
We're going to get into a lot more of. We're going to start picking it apart in a bit. I know you're itching to do it now.
It's driving me insane because it's a bunch of dog shit. Like, I don't even know.
This case has been one of the largest true crime community investigations in history. If you delve onto YouTube, there are thousands of videos of people who are finding new cases, adding new cases. There is a whole network of people who work on this case on a daily basis. It is a ginormous global investigation by enthusiasts, retired detectives, bored housewives, little old ladies.
Not me.
No, not me. Not me either, apart from this episode. But let's not discount it, though, because it was a little old lady who cracked the first Zodiac code.
Well, that's true. But, I mean, when you old, you ain't got shit else to do. So that's cool. Maybe whenever I'm like, if I make it to like in my 80s, right, 85, I'll crack the case for you. Let you know.
Okay. All of these cases having the same victim profile, almost identical circumstances. I can't deny there is something there. The biggest thing I find here is that if nothing else, the two retired detectives, Kevin and Anthony, are uncovering some subpar police work from various different police departments. They're getting things that are deemed as accidental death changed to actual murder. That they are uncovering stuff that is maybe just not being swept under the rug, but not given the attention it deserves. And that's one good thing they are doing.
Yeah, I mean, that's cool. But when you start to do your research and you look into it, like even the FBI is not on board with the theory.
No, the thing is,
they're not.
I can't imagine how many young men get drunk, fall into a lake, a river, a pond, and drown. And if you're a detective and you turn up to, there's a guy in the river, his blood alcohol level is through the roof.
Yeah.
He slipped in, he drowned, case closed. I don't even think there'd be that next step to do a lot more investigation because on the surface, it's very clear cut.
Mm-hmm. I feel like it would be like an open and shut case because, again, if there were any injuries prior to him drowning, they would be visible. The water's not going to wash away a fucking strangulation mark or a shotgun wound or something like that, right?
Yeah.
And you can still find drugs in your system. The water it does very little to wash away anything. And then, like in my case with Lacey Peterson, her body was like decomposed, right? They still could find evidence like after so long.
Exactly that. Exactly that. 100% some of these cases, like Christopher Jenkins, are definitely murders. There's no doubt about it. The police changed that to a homicide. It is definitely a murder. The biggest question is, though, is how credible is it that there is a global syndicate of serial killers working and operating together?
There's not.
It's possible. It's not out of the realms of reality, but it raises so many questions for me, like how would they communicate? If they have got a way to communicate, do they have a hierarchy? Is there one person at the top? How do they make sure that they only kill someone within that victim profile? How do they know they're not going to... It just opens just this massive can of worms that I can't get my head around. And what would stop one of them if, like, let's say you've got one of these members of the Smiley Face gang and they've killed their target victim, who's a young, fit, healthy male. The next day, the little old man who lives down the road from them pisses them off and they're capable of killing. What's stopping them going, oh, you know what, I'm just going to kill him. Who cares?
Yeah, because maybe he might snitch or, I don't know, do something. Yeah, it's just, this sounds like something like science fiction, okay? Like in that term of someone was like, I've got to make a big fucking story. Guess what? We'll have a global serial killer.
The other
makes a great story.
It's a brilliant story. And I can see why so many people are compelled to investigate it. And like the Smiley Face graffiti tag, that's the most common thing that ties these cases together.
I can't.
The Smiley Face graffiti tag is something when I was in my teens, I was tagging a smiley face because it's the only thing most people can do with a fucking spray can.
There is so like where I live kind of outside of the city part, but like really close to town is what we call it. So we have like a downtown area. It's in West Monroe, but it's a downtown. There's smiley face graffiti. I've seen it. And then on trains. So like, are they coming to kill us all here?
Well, has there been smiley face killings in those locations?
No, not that I know of. Like, this is what I'm saying is like not far from where my mom has a shop. And there's like, it's a bad part of the neighborhood a little further down. There's a smiley face graffiti like on the fucking side of the gas station.
Yeah. And
so it's common. It's just something that people, to me, like if you're like a gang, you know, that kind of shit, like that's, or you're just bad kid, whatever, you want to go do that kind of shit. That's what you draw. That's what you spray paint.
Because it's quick and easy. You go round once, you've done a circle, 2 dots for an eye and a smiley and you're gone. You're there.
Exactly.
5 seconds.
Yeah, you don't have to be an artist.
I don't want to take anything away from these two detectives because they both had very, not decorated, but they both had very unblemished detective records, and they solved a lot of cases. So I'm not saying that they're bad detectives, but I think they're reaching.
I think they're, yeah, I feel like it's, how do I word this? I don't want to say like they're bored and they have nothing to do, but they're both retired, correct?
Yeah.
You know, they weren't actively working anymore, and it's sort of like, go retire. You still ain't figured the shit out.
Yeah, I think it's. I'm going to get into it in a minute, but before I do that, I'm going to tell us how you can help us because we need your help as well.
Yes.
So there's lots of ways you can support us. The first one is tell a friend about us. That's really easy. Turn around to someone at work and go, "Do you like true crime? Oh, good. Oh, I listen to the You Run podcast. They're really good. Check them out. Review us wherever you can. So Spotify and Apple Podcasts. If you do it on Apple, say something really nice. Tag us on social media. We're at You Run True Crime on Instagram. We're You Run Podcast everywhere else, which includes TikTok, Facebook, Twitter, Discord. We're literally everywhere. You can get hold of us on any of those, or you can go straight to Heather at Wednesday Wine and Horror on Instagram as well. If you want to put some money back into the show, so me and Heather can get new mics, or I can make more pointless phone calls to the United States that I don't have to pay for.
He need that money, y'all. Y'all better start buying some shit.
Go to yourunpodcast.com. We've got a shop on there where you can get cups, mugs, T-shirts, stickers, beach towels, all sorts of other goodies that have got true crime plastered all over them. And if you're one of those super fans who'd really, really, really like to help us a lot, then what you could do is you can go to our shop and you can buy the Superfan T-shirt, which I'm not going to lie, is the most disgusting, horrible T-shirt in the world, and it has every logo we have plastered all over it.
Yeah, it does.
if you buy that and you wear it and you tag us in a photo on any of our social medias, I will send you one free item from our shop.
Do it. Just do it. I mean, y'all got some money. Y'all do it. Scott can't be making no more phone calls. That's why he don't call me personally, because he be living in a cardboard box because we talk all the time. He ain't got time. We could be like free messaging.
Yes.
Free.
Yeah. But
we meet up and have our little Zoom talks and we can chit chat then. Don't fucking call me because I'll be like, how much is that?
The thing is, though, the police don't have the option to Zoom them. Otherwise, I would have done that.
Yeah, that's true. Can you imagine? You're like, hey, like you get really close on the thing. And you're like, hey.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, sir. No, sir. No, thank you.
I'm calling about your extended warranty.
Oh, God. Fuck those motherfuckers.
Now, it's not only Heather who thinks this case is bullshit.
Yes.
It has been discredited numerous times by numerous various different agencies. So the following is a statement issued by the FBI in 2008. The FBI has reviewed the information about the victims provided by two retired police detectives who have dubbed these incidents the Smiley Face murders, and interviewed an individual who provided information to the detectives. To date, we have not developed any evidence to support links between these tragic deaths or evidence substaining to the theory that these deaths are the work of a serial killer or killers. The vast majority of these instances appear to be alcohol-related drowning. The FBI will continue to work with local police in affected areas and provide support as requested. Which, I mean, it is kind of the FBI going, look, thanks, guys, but there's nothing here.
Yeah, and you kind of want to trust the FBI, right? Like you're thinking they're pretty top notch. They should know what the fuck they're doing. I'm gonna kind of, to me it sounds, well, we'll get into it in a minute, but it just sounds a lot like another story a true crime type thing that I've listened to. So
with this case, it's been pushed so hard that it found its way to the Minneapolis Center for Homicide. And what they are is they're an independent, non-profit organization that will take cases and they will analyze all the case files, all the information, all the interviews, and then they will produce a report as to what they think may happen and whether it's credible. And they'll then pass that information to other agencies and go, look, actually, we think you've overlooked something here. Have a look at it. Now, I'm going to read some of the things from their findings. I've got a couple of bullet points here that I'm going to read out. And
Okay.
I think they kind of, they're going to say in a very polite way what Heather's going to say in not a very polite way in a minute.
Yeah.
So there is a problem with the time order. In science, we have to show that two correlated factors occur in the correct sequence. Smiley face graffiti must be proven to have been painted immediately after the time of the killing. Some of the photographs of the graffiti show worn, faded out paint that looks like it may have been applied years earlier. In other cases, graffiti was found months afterwards. There is no proof any of them were painted. While determining age of paint is forensically possible, it is technically imprecise, only narrowing to a year of the origin. In many instances, no smiley faces were found at all. Therefore, the finding that these faces are most likely the result of chance only.
Yeah, because this is the thing. Depending on the area, it could be purely coincidental that, they find the drowned victim, and then they see a smiley face that is just there. That
it might have been there for a decade.
That's the thing. They're just looking for an out. They're just looking for something it's almost like when people want to find closure, you want to, so you kind of just believe whatever, if it makes you feel better in the moment.
Yeah. You
that's
see
what it sounds like with this case.
They're seeing what they want to see. They're making the links that are convenient for their case.
Yes, very much.
They went on. So there's the case that had the cause of death was changed from drowning, accidental to homicide. They looked at that as well. And they followed it with this statement: confessions by correctional inmates are unreliable. In at least one suspected homicidal drowning case, an inmate confessed to a cellmate that he was responsible for the death. However, a claim by a prison convict having killed someone is not credible on its own. 12% of criminals make voluntary confessions that are false while incarcerated.
I would say more than 12%. I mean, I know that that's their figure, but you have to think about it. If they think they can get away with it and it gives them a little bit of lenience, they're in prison. I'm not trying to stereotype, but it kind of is a stereotype that these are criminals, and most of them are like, we're just going to lie our way out of this fucking shithole. And we might get a fucking sweet Debbie cake or some bullshit. I don't know, but they're going to make up something.
Yeah. And if I was in prison and I thought I could, if I was in prison for a long time and I knew I wasn't getting out, but I knew if I confessed to a couple of other murders, it might get me a better cell or put in solitary where I'm safer from other inmates, or it got me a TV, or if I'm not getting out, do I care? I'll confess to whatever you want if it gets me something to make my life better. Exactly.
And it's sort of like if you're on a death sentence and you like kill someone in prison, right? Yeah. So what are they going to do? You're going to say you're already fucking fucked. You're there forever.
Yeah, I'm here forever. I may as well take out 8 inmates and a guard because I'm still going to be here forever tomorrow. It doesn't matter. Yeah, and we're not getting into the death penalty, but your ass just be sitting there rotting away like some old ass cheese. They ain't going to do nothing to you. You're just going to fucking stay there, and that's what most of the time happens. Yeah, you don't really get the death penalty. No, you just sit there till you're about to get it, and then you die anyway, and they don't have to do it.
Or they change it, and they'll switch you over to just life in prison, like they fucking did with Scott Peterson.
Yes, which is wrong.
Yeah, fuck him.
Yeah,
fuck him. I wish he could see me right now. Fuck you, Scott Peterson. Anyway.
Yeah. Despite numerous independent investigations and dismissal by pretty much every global law enforcement in the world, Kevin and Anthony and almost an army of true crime enthusiasts continue to investigate the case. The number of suspected victims grows on average by 30 to 35 victims each year.
Yeah, I was confused. I put an R in that because I was like, what? And so, like, again, I don't understand you guys. So this episode is like, Heather is, I don't know shit. Google lying to me. Somebody's lying about something.
The crazy thing is, so there's a couple of people on YouTube who this is their job. They investigate this case all the time.
Yes.
And what they do is they get cases. They'll request copies of cases of disappeared young men. They'll then investigate them, or they'll find bodies of young men in case files. They'll then go to the scenes where these bodies were found. They'll snap a picture of a smiley face. That gets added to the theory. The body was found here. There's a smiley face there. This is a smiley face killing.
What if I drew that? What if it was me? I ain't killed nobody, but like, what if I was just happy that day and I'm like, look at me, I drew a smiley face. I don't know. Like, if you drew it, like, it'd be the same thing if there was a bunch of drawn dicks on there. Was it the dick face killer? So stupid. That would have been better, Scott. Make it juicier.
The dick
Make
face
it juicy.
killer.
Yes. Make it juicy. Actually, that sounds really nasty. But anyways, let's make it hard. That sounds bad too. Oh,
yeah.
Lord.
Let's
Sorry.
move on. Normally, this is where we'd play Know This Crime. But
yes.
This crime is so wishy-washy that to do Know This Crime, all the questions need to be based on facts. And there
and you
are
can't
no
do that to people.
facts. But there's no actual facts in this case. There's nothing credible enough that I could make a question to that you couldn't answer with various different answers and still be correct.
It would be unfair and unjust and usually we have a guest on when we have the quiz. So I wouldn't want to subject anybody to that. No. Maybe one person, but we're not going to say.
No. So instead, we're going to go with your input in the case. So I started this off with a simple poll, and I put smiley face killers. They exist or wild conspiracy. 80% of the people who answered that poll believe smiley face killer organization is real.
Scott, I ain't gonna say nothing because they like us, they listen to us. Y'all need to stop. No, don't stop listening to us. Listen to us more. But like, come on, people. Just like I tell my sons, don't believe everything you read on the fucking internet. Do some actual legit research.
They did redeem themselves. So the next question I asked was, could the popularity of the smiley face killer case lead to copycat killers? And I personally think it could. So if there's if you're someone who wants to murder someone and there's a global conspiracy of smiley face killers, I've just killed this guy. I've thrown him in the water. I tell you what, I'm going to be a smiley face here and I'm going to leave. And that's going to lead everyone down a completely different path away from me.
There have been other copycat killers in the history of serial killers or just killing one person. So that right there would make more sense because it would be more of for attention. Yeah. Like I'm going to, instead of debunking it, it's more of like, hey, this really is happening. There you go. Look, but it's really just some crazy person, you know, copycatting.
And 89% of our listeners think that is quite likely. Okay. And also, if you think if you're in gang areas, gangs could do this. This could be a way of gangs pulling instead of leaving their gang tag there, they leave a smiley face, and the detectives go down a completely different path.
And they can throw you off because they wouldn't leave their actual like gang symbol or anything else that represents the gang that they're in. So that makes that now we're starting to use our fucking brains.
Yeah, exactly.
Thank you.
Yes. I asked what people thought the motive may be. Not a single clue. No one had an idea. I asked if anyone had any facts on the case, and surprise, surprise, no one had any facts on this case.
No.
I also then put in there, does anyone else have anything else they'd like to say on this case? And imitation Dave come up with, I love Dave. Killers make copycat killers, and they make more copycat killers. So basically, just stay at home and you'll be fine.
I mean, he ain't lying. No, Dave, you kind of right. I stay at home all the time, but for other reasons, I don't like anybody hardly. So, yeah, stay at home.
Yeah. I'm genuinely not shocked by the lack of responses to this case. It's an unsolved case that spans the globe. And if you believe the theory of the smiley face killers, there's also an element of, do you want to poke your head up above the parapet if these are a global society of killers? Do you want to make yourself known and start shouting and screaming? Probably not, if you believe it.
Okay, I have to say something though too. Like, so they're only killing males.
Yes.
Like good looking stud muffin, party boy, frat boys, right? Is that kind of?
Yeah, I'm safe.
Me too. I don't have a dick. I'm fine. But no, you ain't safe because you're a boy. But That right there is another thing to me is where, okay, I get it. Other serial killers only killed one sex. Yeah. I understand that. But this is very odd. It's more odd. It's not like a homosexual driven thing. It wasn't like, oh, no, this was just like, so frat boys. So what's our real message behind this? Don't go to college? I don't know.
No, it's just bizarre.
I don't know.
This case is kind of a small fascination of mine, and pretty much has been since we started the show. This is one of the first cases that kind of popped on my radar when I started going, well, if I'm doing a true crime podcast, I maybe should have a little look to see what's out there. I've been through various theories. I've watched so many documentaries and read so many articles. It's got so many different points of view, but nothing in evidence. And if you look at the bigger picture, 90% of these cases, in my opinion, are accidental drownings. All of these killings completed by an international syndicate of serial killers. I don't know. I think there's a mix of killers and accidents. I think there are some murders in here. I genuinely think there are.
I think there's a small handful of them that have potentially been murdered before disposed of in the water.
Yeah, and the thing I'm going to add here, and again, I'm not digging at these two detectives, but if there were a few killings, the popularity of this case and the way that they have pushed this through various documentaries, I think if there are people who are inclined to kill, they are giving them almost a free license and all of the information to do it and be tied in to this case. I think they could be making it worse than it was in the beginning.
It depends on the person. Like if you're dealing with someone that would feel as if they could get away with it, then they're going to maybe try to replicate, duplicate, whatever, copycat these type of killings, and it's going to still throw these police officers off. Like you're never going to get caught.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I mean, we're going to pretty much wrap it here, but on extended cut, because I'm not happy. I don't like leaving things this. And I'm genuinely not happy how it's got to a point where I'm going. Pfft. So on extended cut, we're going to talk about the extra investigation we done. So I made an attempt to contact the Smiley face killers.
Oh my Scott! Don't make me have this baby come out my butthole right now.
So
Lord Jesus.
I enlisted the help of a very technical savvy friend, and we ventured into the dark web where these people are meant to live, and we tried to flush them out. We're also going to talk about the popularity of true crime and whether it actually hinders or helps real investigations. And we're going to give our final verdicts of what we think of the Smiley face killers, whether it's credible or whether it's just bullshit. And that's all on extended cut. So the bit that I know you really want to listen to is on extended cut. And this is where you're going to get really excited now, because this month we are not making you wait 15 days for extended cut.
No.
Because this case is so annoying, and I know it's going to, when you listen, I know this is going to piss you off as much as it's pissed me and Heather off. Extended cut comes out in 3 days.
Perfect.
You have 3 days to wait. And then we're going to bring you a Halloween special, which we'll tell you about on extended cut as well. So for now, Heather.
All right, you guys, look, before I sign off of this bullshit case, I'm going to say what I'm going to say, but I got a PSA for all you graffiti artists out there. Do not fucking spray paint a goddamn smiley face, okay? Because you're going to become a part of this conspiracy theory. They're going to find you. Spray paint a dick. I haven't seen very many. That's what I want to see when I pass by a train. So, you graffiti artists out there, spray paint me a dick, some balls, put everything on there, make it look good. But you guys, in all seriousness,
if you're going to do that, please put for Heather underneath it.
Yes, put for Heather, and I go by it. I'll know who it is for me, and I'll take a picture, post it on socials. But in all seriousness, I want to give a big thank you to everybody that listens to us. And until next time, stay safe and always stay spooky. Bye.
See you later. Thank you for listening to the You Run podcast. Don't forget, you can get involved in the show in so many ways. All you need to do is head over to yourunpodcast.com.
Yeah, you don't want it to sound like you're literally reading from a script.
Shit, sorry Heather. That's right, this is your show. It's fun. It's different. It's like nothing else out there. This is your true crime.
This motherfucker.